About a year ago, I got a new job. Previously, I'd been working at a company where I could go during lunchtime and go to the range, and I would shoot every 4 to 6 weeks generally. And I do live fire training and live fire practice and all of that, usually at a square range. And I didn't have a lot of opportunity for drawing, site presentation, any of that. I would just stand at a booth and shoot at a target 7, 15, or 25 yards away. Since then, I've been to the range 4 times or something in the last year. You've actually seen 2 of those, I think, on video, and one of which was outside with my Mossberg Shockwave. A couple of things have happened since then. When I started going to the range again, and I haven't had an opportunity to go for quite a long time, I noticed that my shooting was actually better than when I'd previously been going more frequently. I think this is because I've had a lot of more opportunity to practice and a lot of more repetitions when it comes to dry fire as opposed to live fire. I find that for me, I flinch sometimes with high recoiling rounds, and that flinching happens after I shoot 100 to 150 rounds during a session, which sometimes I would smash through in a half-hour burst at the range. I do a lot of 2 or 3 or 4 shot sequences, and not really have a good plan going forward. So here's what I'm going to do in my shooting. Number one, I have an unloaded, however loaded with a laser light trainer, HK P2000 SK. This was the first pistol that I bought, and it's fantastic. I love it. It's also an LEM trigger. This is the V2 LEM. So this is a 9mm pistol, and it has a laser light trainer. Just to show you what that looks like, by the way, totally safe direction that way and that way. There's stone walls all around us. Here is what that looks like. That's a laser that comes out of the barrel for like a pulse, and it will go to, wait for it, over there on top of my oil tank. You can't really see it well from here, but there's another camera set up, and that is going to show the impact on the laser trainer. So what I'm doing is I'm going to shoot a series of shots from concealment, from my holster. I'm going to draw, present, shoot at a comfortable pace. I'm not going to go super fast onto that laser target. By the way, if you've seen my channel before, you know that I don't have a lot of videos. I don't sell products. I don't particularly endorse things. I make zero money off of any kind of deals on the side. But this laser trainer is awesome. If you see something like this, pick it up. It'll help you out. If you don't have the opportunity to have something like this, because it's not cheap, grab yourself a pistol and some snap caps. Why do I say snap caps? You don't really need them, and I actually don't have any in here right now. Some guns, this one is not like that. Some guns have different kind of grip profile with a full magazine, and they actually weigh differently with a full magazine. This one actually does weigh a little different when the magazine's full, but you know, whatever. The reason you want that grip profile is if you're drawing from concealment, you want it to be as consistent as possible to what is actually going to happen if you are practicing. So, like I said, this one I'm not going to use snap caps, but snap caps work great. They also help slow the firing pin down a little bit as it's kind of doing its forward motion. Every modern gun can handle a ton of dry fire. Let's see what this looks like. By the way, I am 5 or so yards away. Draw, get a good sight picture, line up, make sure I'm good, and shoot. Now you can see that the shot actually went to the 3 o'clock position on that target, and that's fine. This will consistently go. I'm going to go to the same spot. This will go to the sights or just a little bit to the right, and that's just how this gun is set up. That one was actually dead on. Sometimes H&Ks, along with some other pistols, have looser chambers and tolerances, so the laser light cartridge will actually slide around inside a little bit. Yeah, that one went to the right a little bit. So it's not going to be totally consistent, but it does give you some feedback over this distance. That one was a little bit to the right, and I took my time to make sure I was dead on. Same thing there. The shifting happens a lot when you rack the slide. That one was dead on. But again, I'm going to aim to the display button, and you'll see kind of where these go. Let's see if I can hit it, because it's a small... There we go. So that's kind of where I expect them to go. In that spot. Different guns are going to be a little different, but you can see that there is a general pattern that's happening there. Let's see if I can hit the reset. There. Now we're going to try something a little harder. By the way, little top tip. If you ever want to get these things out, the cartridge is stuck in here. It won't actually do anything with the extractor. That's a bit of a safety thing. So if you have an actual magazine in here, you won't be able to chamber a live round inside. I just prefer not to have a magazine at all. But if you want to take it out of a semi-automatic pistol, find a chopstick or a pencil, but chopsticks work great because they're disposable. And you just punch it out the barrel side. It fell on the ground. Let me go get that. Next up we have my Glock 17 with an aftermarket barrel. I think this barrel is actually from Rockslide USA, which is one of the cheaper ones you can find on eBay. But it works really well, like surprisingly well. It's also got an RMR on it. So here we go. There. So that went dead on. Let's try again. There's a little bit to the right, but not far. Could have been my fault as well. A little bit to the right. Okay. Now with an RMR, it's a lot easier. I'm just doing this in quick succession so you can see kind of offhand where this chamber and laser light combo will pattern. Okay, let's display. So, you can see with that pattern, if I don't place it on there, it's my fault, not the trainer, not the chamber thing kind of flopping around. So let's see what this looks like moving at a bit of speed. Let me reset. I missed that. There. So. I don't have a shot timer or anything, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw from concealment, and I'm just going to shoot that laser trainer 5 times, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to do it as quickly as I reasonably can, and make sure my laser dot stays in that circle that's about the size of a coconut, maybe, at 5 yards. One thing that I forgot to mention, when I do this, the drill is over after the trigger breaks. I'm not doing any kind of follow-up action. I'm not scanning and assessing, because once that trigger breaks, if there was a live round in here, something would happen. The gun would cycle, all of that. I don't want to train myself to just reach up and cock the slide, unless, for example, nothing happens. So I'm not going to, do any kind of other training actions after that. I'm comfortable, pow, cock the slide, because I know that I'm training. Use your head though. Okay. Number 2. This is teaching a couple things. It's teaching going for that holster. It's finding that red dot. And making sure my breathing control is ready, so I pull the trigger right when the dot is where it needs to be. What's happening, let me do this one slow. I'm seeing the dot in my window. I know that hit is when my red dot is on top of that coconut sized thing, and I'm trying to time it so that I get closer and closer and closer to the middle as the trigger breaks. If I need to speed it up a little bit, I can. 3, 4, 5. Let's see where those landed. And I missed that because I freaking there. So that's 5 shots. Relatively close to the target, relatively close to kind of where I need to be. 5 yards, I'm happy with that. Now, with a live gun, other things are going to come into play. My recoil control, how quickly I can shoot, how quickly I can do follow-ups are all different. And I'm not saying I'm a great shot with this, but what I am saying is stuff like this can really help you practice what you need to do. What's nice about these targets is you can set them up at different heights, different distances. What you can also do is you can also use the laser trainer separate from that target over there. And you can do things like shooting one-handed. You can practice the muscle control there. You can also practice shooting on the move. You can practice less comfortable positions like dropping to a knee or shooting on one leg, kind of over and around some kind of concealment or cover. So all of these are options for you. Again, this isn't a plug for Laser Light or any of the other companies associated with this, but I'm just trying to show that these types of things can do a lot to help you improve your accuracy and to help you improve things like drawing from concealment, because no range that I go to, even on my good days when I drive an hour and a half or whatever and I go to the best range that I can, allows me to draw from concealment and do shots like that with live fire. I've been to a couple of classes where they encourage that, they like that, but all of these other ranges that I've been to, that's not kosher. So if you have the chance to get formal instruction, do it. I've been to a couple of formal classes and I loved every minute of them. They were fantastic, and I learned a lot of things that I otherwise would not have even thought to practice, like shooting as I'm walking backward, or shooting as I'm moving to the side, or moving first and then drawing my gun. Because if you notice, I kind of, whenever I draw, I lean back, I reach over. It's not awkward, it's not convenient, it's very awkward. So anyway, enough of my rambling. Practice, train. If you don't have the opportunity to go to the range, it's not an excuse. Do what you got to do to make sure you are competent with your firearm if you choose to carry. If you just choose to keep it at your house, definitely practice at home defense distances. This is the furthest distance reasonably I would ever shoot anything inside my house. Everything else is closer in than that. So remember that when you're training too. Practice retention, practice whatever you got to do. Stay safe, everyone. And definitely, by the way, when you're dry firing, make sure the gun is absolutely empty. The only ammo that I have for this gun is 20 feet away in a safe over there. See ya.